The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mabuhay and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. This is King Gonzalez streaming live from Quezon City, and you guys are watching the season ender of season 4 of Realty Realities. Ho, ho, ho! It's 29 days to Christmas! Yes, as we always say here at Realty Realities, make Christmas every day. Let's spread the love not only on December 25, but every day. Because Christ shows his love every day to us, and so we show this love to everyone. Every single day. A good Saturday afternoon to everybody. Maraming salamat po for streaming and watching us live wherever you guys are from. Or if you're gonna watch us via replay, marami pong salamat. Earlier I said this is the last episode of the 4th season. So we're very thankful to you for sticking it out for the whole season. We do hope that you've learned a lot from all the episodes. And today is going to be another interesting episode as we talk to you about what's important in the real estate industry. Are we realty back on track? But before we talk to you about it, we'd like to thank the people who have made this season possible for us, starting off with Oh My Home. Oh My Home, always on your side, always by your side. So Oh My Home is the newest app and website from Singapore that makes it easier for us to find our dream houses and dream property investments. We also have Vista Residences built with a purpose. So Vista condominiums are all located strategically near your offices and near your kids' school. We also have Business Mirror, our media partner, for a broader look at today's business. If you don't want too much of the entertainment and the politics, then go to businessmirror.com.ph. We also have our coffee partner, Shift Cafe, that perks us up, even our guests, because they also receive their own glass of the shifter. That's their famous um, concoction of coffee. And we also have, which we're giving out today. Can we have the screen here, please? Another, and this is the last for this season. This pretty artisan bag from Marikina, care of Few Bags by Candy. Pero hindi lang yan. Since this is the last episode, we're also giving out these cute Vista Residences pencil cases. So how do you win? Just ask and you shall receive. Ask a question to our guest, and the first person to do so by putting it in the comment section gets yourself the Q Bags by Candy. And then, if you want to shout out to your friends and just put it in your comment section and you'll get yourself the Vista Residence pencil cases. Okay? That easy. Because just like Christmas, we like giving away all those prizes to you without too much hassle, right? Okay, so what do we have this afternoon? As we started the season with a review of the quarter two property industry, we'd like to end this season by giving you a review of Q3. And because I suppose as sales professionals, as investors, you'd like to know, is it a good time for me to buy, say, a Visayas Avenue property and make it into a commercial center? And to the sales professionals, will it be an easier time for me to sell because the economy in the real estate industry is coming back, right? And who best to talk to us about it, but none other than, well, he's always guesting conferences when it comes to review of the property industry because he is the founder of KMC Solutions. He is also the managing director of one of the biggest real estate brokerages, if not the biggest in the Philippines. That's KMC Savills, Philippines. Let's put our hands together for our first episode guest. And now who's coming back today to give you good news? Mr. Michael McCullough. Mike, please come in.
Mabuhay.
All right, mabuhay.
Hey, thanks
me
for
see-
having me again,
Let me,
King.
let me get that flag a bit, just to show our colors. Well,
I'll-
because I do know that although you are American, but you are a Filipino at heart, Mike. Am I correct?
the country has adopted me, thankfully, both spiritually and legally.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Congratulations, congratulations. Well, we need to get good talents to the country because it is needed. Just like getting I'm not sure if you are into PBA, but just getting Justin Brownlee to support the Gilas team in the FIBA to get
a
those
few good
qualifications, right?
players, a few good players can really raise the bar of the whole team, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just like you've been raising the bar when it comes to doing business in the Philippines,
Thank you.
especially in the lines of real estate, right?
We've been dodging the bar. We don't want to get hit by the bar is the biggest thing. Yeah, the last few years have been an interesting journey to ride out in the Philippines for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And to those who just woken up, yes, because it was also disturbed by this thing called COVID pandemic. All
If
right.
you haven't heard
So
about it yet.
the big question in everybody's mind is, are we realty back on track, Mike?
Well, I feel a lot better answering this question today than I probably would have a few weeks ago. I think the worst is potentially behind us. So, I've got some, yeah, when you've hit rock bottom, you can only go up, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to call that I'm hoping that there's the bottoming of the market, but also we need to be honest with ourselves, and there are
Mm-hmm.
some headwinds, and that is the rising interest rates and the increasing rates of inflation,
Mm-hmm.
which will hit consumers and will specifically hit lenders. And real
Mm-hmm.
estate is a debt game, and whether you're the developer, you typically take on construction loans, and if you're the end user or occupier, you also go to the bank and get a mortgage. So, this is going to um, have an effect on the real estate market. We're not sure exactly how that plays out because there
Mm-hmm.
is such pent up demand
Uh-huh.
for housing that
Yeah.
it's the one bright spot, I'd say, of the real estate market.
Or
Yesterday, I was at a conference, and the tourism secretary from Cebu spoke, and
Secretary Frasco.
she was very, very clear on her agenda and things such as a better airport experience for 80% of the market, I think, is OFWs and Filipino tourists, but the
Mm-hmm.
other 20% is potentially Southeast Asia or China, US, Korean, Japan
Yeah.
tourists. She wants to have a better airport experience. She wants to have better Wi-Fi access points, kind of in the provincial areas for digital nomads, and she wants to have a
Mm-hmm.
better bathroom experience for some tourism places. I thought
Yeah.
she was right on point, so I have to give her a lot of credit.
No,
Um,
the current secretary is quite bullish when it comes to providing, the better tourist experience, right, to visitors here in the country. And she means so because she's from the local government. So,
she really
and
gets it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
local
right.
government really does stuff. National government says they do stuff
Are you gonna
historically.
get? Yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah. True, true. No,
I
because
mean,
local.
you
Yeah,
can
I
really
mean,
affect
local.
your local at the local level. Politics are much cleaner. You can really get stuff done. You
Mhm.
can really roll up your sleeves. It's much harder to do that at scale. And
Yeah.
I'm not
True,
I'm not
true.
saying specifically to the Philippines. Just
Yeah.
generally across the world, right?
Yeah. True. Okay. So do you wanna review the real estate industry by going one by one
Yeah, maybe we
to
can cover a couple
specific
different sectors.
markets, right? The different sectors.
Yeah, and if you want, we released our Q3 Metro Manila office report,
Yeah. Okay.
and basically,
Can we pull it out, please? We have something prepared for the viewers. The Q3 office market, right?
I
Because
think
it's
kind
a
of
very good indicator, right? If the economy is already getting back on track, is that if
well,
occupancy rates are going down.
so the economy is diverging from, say, office space demand.
Mhm.
It the economy can do well without office space now because there's so much work from home.
Oh, okay,
Right?
yeah.
Now, obviously, that is a huge cash flow component for developers and
Uh-huh.
and real estate investors. They do love reoccurring revenue from multinationals that pay
Hmm.
rent, every month, and it falls right into the bottom line. There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think our report and some others have kind of come up with relatively similar figures.
Hmm. Hmm.
If we go into full screen mode there,
Yeah. Well,
that
like what I was telling you earlier, right? Your figures are all about the same lines with CBRE's figures. Well, when I had them on the show, the first episode of the season.
yeah.
So
So we're pretty, yeah, I think we grade buildings similarly. There's a lot of new inventory. It's pretty clear to get the current vacancy from that. So roughly we're tracking about 20+%, 20.6% some vacancy rate across Metro Manila.
uh-huh,
And
uh,
that's in the key, that's kind of third quarter. You can go
okay,
down another page if you want. Let's see. Does you want to go full
20
screen or
20%, right? 20.
there we go.
Yep.
Maybe she wants to go full screen now. So
That's okay. You
the
can
real
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
yeah, so the real challenge I think to the market, besides the fact that some companies have given back space because they
Mhm.
believe in a work from home model, at least a portion of their employees will work from home, and that is
Uh-huh.
working
Uh-huh.
for them.
Yeah.
Um, so a portion are working from home, and some companies are giving back space. Now, new companies are still coming to the Philippines, and why? Because of the great the great value they get from Filipino talent, and as there's more,
Can we give our BPO employees a hand?
yeah, the
Yeah.
BPO workers are truly like industrial heroes. Like they bring
Mm-hmm.
in 26 billion US dollars a year into the economy.
Mm-hmm.
A great deal of that, 8 to 15% of that potentially flows into the real estate market. Um, and so that helps uh, a lot of um, a lot of developers, and I think developers have been a lot more bullish on getting their products sold outside of the country. They've been doing
Mm-hmm.
road shows again. They've been because I think this whole like I may die, or maybe I do, or maybe I want to get back to my friends and family, or maybe I want to get back to my home country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, they're going to start investing. They need a backup plan. If something goes wrong for them in U.S., Europe, Middle East, at least they've got something to come back to if they have to come back to the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines. So that's probably been a bright spot for developers selling to OFWs. But back to the office, um, Makati has had a challenge, and some of that has been the give back of office space, but a lot of that has been new supply that's putting pressure on rents.
Uh-huh.
Rents have
Uh-huh.
only dropped about 1.5%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks flat. The headline rents have only dropped, one
Uh-huh.
to
Uh-huh.
1.5%. But what we'll see is we'll see developers offering.
What rent are we talking about here in terms of per square meter rates?
Yeah, so the grade A
What's the
buildings are
average right
hovering
now for
around the
Makati?
1,000. The grade A buildings are kind of hovering around
Yeah.
1,000 plus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
premium buildings, you're looking like 1,300 to 1,800 pesos per square meter, kind of in that range.
Uh-huh.
But what we're
Uh-huh.
really seeing is developers that are reasonable and they want to get a deal done, and they will sweeten up the offer by offering a lot of rent free, whether that's 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and brings down those net effective rents kind of 10, 20%.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
I mean, I think we'll see grade A buildings, being happy to do deals at like 750 per square meter, for example, for the right brand.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So,
Oh
the
yeah.
public rate might be 1,000. Yeah, man.
Uh-huh.
There's a real big gap between what people are willing to pay for an office
So
and
when you say grade A buildings, it does not just necessarily refer to their location in Makati, right? But also, how the building looks like in its makeup. So,
yeah, there's
um,
no real hard and fast rule for grade A. Like, there's no real
mhm,
definition in the world. But the way we break it down is grade A location is probably like 30% of the weight, or 33% of the weight, meaning
mhm.
Ayala Avenue or
Ayala Avenue, yeah,
Makati
yeah,
Avenue or something, right?
right, right,
Uh,
right.
and then what kind of amenities does it have? Does it have high-speed lifts, secure
Uh-huh,
parking
uh-huh,
facilities, fiber optic lines, food court, or other amenities? And then we also look at the general age and upkeep of the building. And
okay,
that's been the
okay.
real challenge, I think. Some of these buildings, a lot of the buildings in Makati are greater than 10 years.
You're talking about Makati CBDs, right?
Makati CBD specifically, right?
The,
Makati
and
CBD is
some of
aging.
these buildings don't have sprinklers even.
Well, that's not true. All the high-rise buildings definitely would be up to code, and they would have to have
Oh, okay,
sprinklers.
okay,
The
okay.
low-rise buildings, anything less than 4 stories, technically uh, did not need sprinkler system. But no,
Oh, okay,
life,
okay.
life, life, and safety systems are generally, up to
Mm-hmm.
code. Or they every 15 years, I think they have to get a structural certificate, and they get, they get re-inspected. So,
Okay.
I'm not so concerned about
Can we
that.
pull up the slide again? Direct.
But air conditioning systems are getting older. Elevator systems are getting older. The
Uh-huh.
maintenance on some of these buildings are getting more costly every year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that will get passed down to the tenants, unfortunately.
Oh,
Higher
okay.
association dues.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, because of higher maintenance costs
higher
for these
maintenance
equipment,
costs.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So vis-a-vis Makati and its partner, I don't know if it's a competitor BGC. How is it faring? Like how's
Yeah, so
BGC?
BGC has historically just outperformed all the other submarkets. They did not have exposure to pogos,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and generally speaking, the tenants that moved to BGC, one, I think BGC over the last couple of years had a higher quality of life, less
Oh.
lockdowns, more common
Mm,
spaces, more common events, more kind of public areas where you could, as a child, go out and leave your house and play
mhm.
safely in whatever sort of zone that they felt was a safe zone versus 5 feet away was not a safe zone.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there was a real attraction to BGC, and it became a true community. While Makati had many foreign occupiers that were working for foreign companies, and they
Mhm.
all fled the country March 2020, and it became a bit of a ghost town,
Yeah, yeah.
like we've never seen.
I remember that. I remember that interview with you because I think we did that sometime May 2020, and you were saying that most of
Never
the
seen it like
expats are
this.
outside of the country already.
Oh yeah, the majority of my friends surely were. Yeah.
Are they back now though?
So it's an interesting comment or interesting question. Yes, they are coming back, and
Mm-hmm.
my calendar has been filled with dinners and lunches and drinks and with all my friends coming back, but they're not here permanently. So they're coming back for 2 weeks, a month, but then they'll go back to their home countries and continue to work remotely.
Remotely.
So
Okay, okay.
that's
Yeah.
not it's not the same as before where they were coming into an office 9 to 5 every day. They were working in Manila with their team in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
they still remained they've kept an office, or at least a small office,
Yeah.
but they'll be here for a month, then back in Ireland or UK or
So,
Switzerland.
but this is the new normal, right, Mike?
I think that this is the way forward, 100%.
Okay.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
people will be living, between multiple destinations because we have
Uh-huh.
freedom and we don't have
Yeah.
to sacrifice anymore. Like, if you live in the province, you can, as a IT worker, get a lot of your work done. And 1 or 2 days a week, you can come into the city
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and waste a lot of time in traffic
Yeah. Yeah.
and meet your team and do that kind of stuff, and then go back to the province.
True. True.
So one of our clients, one of the largest IT outsourcing companies in the Philippines, has done some studies, like heat maps, on their
Mm-hmm.
employees over the last 2 years. And they
Oh
said,
yeah.
okay, the majority of our employees were in fringe Metro Manila areas. That's where they
Uh-huh.
live. And
Uh-huh.
they would commute and come into BGC, Makati, QC for the delivery centers. A year later, okay, they moved into the province. So they moved out of Metro Manila officially. 2 years
Uh-huh.
later, they moved deeper into the province because it became even more affordable. Or maybe they bought a house, or maybe
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and so they're like, wow, our employees went from being fringe Metro Manila residents to fringe kind of in the province to deep provincial areas.
Mm-hmm.
um, and how do we connect to them? How do we bring them back into an office? Or do we need to now set up satellite locations in Laguna, in Cavite, in Clark?
Yeah, but the government seems to be working up and telling all those BPOs to get their employees back to the offices.
Yeah, there's been a big push.
Is that still the policy of the government up to now? Would you know?
So the government's been going back and forth on that, and that uncertainty causes companies to delay investment.
Uh-huh.
It
Uh-huh.
causes employees to lose sleepless nights because they don't know if they're gonna have to, leave their new home in the province and have to come back to bed space in Metro Manila.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they just the uncertainty alone stresses people out in different
Uh-huh.
ways.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
resignations were massively up in the middle of that government dispute between PEZA,
Oh
BOI.
yeah.
You have to come back. You don't have to come back. Okay, you're gonna have to come back in a few more months. Employees are like, this is stressing me out. I'm gonna quit my employer for the last 2, 3, 4 years, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
work with somebody who's 100% work from home, and I'm not dragged back into coming back into Metro Manila. So we
So
saw
up
massive
up until
resignation.
speak today, Mike, you're saying that the government's still dilly-dallying when it comes to that policy
They're
of
kicking a can down the road,
going
is
back.
what they've done, and they
Uh-huh.
forced a lot of BPO companies to now explore going BOI, which um, is not necessarily the easiest direction, but is an easier path if
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, I want to hire 100 Filipinos. 100 Filipinos might be in the province, or
Mm-hmm.
10 or 15 of them might be in the office in Metro Manila. By the way, I want to give them all laptops, and I don't want to have to file a report every time that laptop leaves my office, because
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of what you had to do under PEZA,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
because you were able
Wow.
to import them in tax free. And if you just let them leave a tax incentive zone, it's kind of theft of
Uh-huh.
12%
Uh-huh.
VAT.
Mike, just to go back to the slide of BGC, I did notice that what we're talking about here isn't exactly reflected on BGC because the vacancy is single digits now.
It's single digits. Yeah, this is
So,
great news. I mean, maybe
uh-huh,
I'm not
uh-huh.
conveying the message here very well, but I mentioned BGC was a real community,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
it has its master plan. It felt safe. It still feels safe. It's got events going on every weekend,
Yeah.
and I think if you are a senior decision maker, you're going to say, let's put the office in BGC, whether it's a small one, big one, let's put it there.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh,
we've seen companies expand here, and we've seen companies vacate space in Makati. So that's why
uh-huh,
you're seeing
uh-huh,
Makati
uh-huh,
having kind of closer to 20% vacancy rates, and BGC at upper 9+%, but
uh-huh,
sub 10%. And again, anything under 10%, we really feel is a healthy. It's a healthy market.
Okay, okay. But when you say so BGC is getting filled, and are there additional spaces that we're forecasting to be built in BGC?
Yeah, there is some new supply, and if you see it kind of that top right chart, it shows
Mm-hmm.
kind of upcoming supply, and it's not a lot for the market, and we forecast that uh, the majority of the supply in 2023 should get absorbed by new entrants coming in and some of the expansions of
Mm-hmm.
the existing players. Um, and then in kind of 2024, maybe there's a little bit extra supply in the market, but um, we're very comfortable with how BGC as a district
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
sub market is holding up and faring.
I see. And this is, I suppose, not just caused by BPOs coming back, uh, but also increasing in terms of other providers. What are the other drivers? Are these local companies expanding, manufacturing companies, or what's a driver of this growth?
Yeah, it's a good question. So there are some large e-commerce players here within BGC. You have the Shoppies and Lazadas. The Panda, Food Panda is here.
Uh-huh,
Meta
uh-huh,
is here. They
uh-huh.
were a large taker. Facebook, Meta
Okay.
was a large
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
taker of space. Wells Fargo took up a large chunk of
Okay.
office space. They're
Uh-huh,
already
uh-huh.
here, but they expanded. Um, I think Abbott took up additional space, and there's some other healthcare companies that are continuing to expand.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and again, you've also got the local firms. You have local demand. You have engineering firms. You have architecture firms.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
local professional services firms that they're expanding. So it's not just BPO or captives. It is
Mm-hmm.
that is a large driver for sure of the market, particularly here in BGC.
Yeah.
But also local companies that want to locate their office here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We'll move a bit. We're at the center. We're talking about Makati, BGC. Let's fast track a bit. Well, don't drop by Ortigas because we're kind of rushing our time.
We'll
Let's
fly right
move to
over Ortigas.
Quezon City.
Let's go to
let's
QC, the
let's
largest
go to
city.
QC, right?
Yeah,
Why? Because for personal reasons, this is where I specialize in, and a lot of viewers also are curious when it comes to Quezon City as a business district,
sure.
right? So we have this major company that's building up. I think it's a 30 hectares now. Oh, for even 40 hectares. The Vertis North
Furthest north, yeah.
area, right? Um, are we also seeing same developments or same growth figures? Can we have the Quezon City slide, please?
Yeah, I mean, we have some data on Quezon City. I think it has some serious promise. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but basically, that market is largely made up of three developers. One is Eaton,
Okay.
one is
Yeah. Yeah.
Ayala,
All right.
and one is SM.
Okay.
And they're still having a hard time, I think, understanding what the rates are for Quezon City, and because they were getting historically they were getting pretty high rates
Uh-huh.
because multinationals were paying them, and that that has slowed down. They have some of the highest vacancy rates in Metro Manila.
Uh-huh.
Quezon City
Uh-huh.
does, and they have some of the highest rents. And so there's just a large gap between the expectation of a tenant and the price points of these landlords. And
Sorry,
there's
what price points are we talking about?
well, they were thinking at one point in time, 750, 700. Oh, we're, a discount to Makati.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you have to go a lot further down. I think, tenants are looking to spend 500 pesos per square meter.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
There's a large gap, right? That's like a 30
Yeah, yeah.
something percent delta
Uh-huh.
from what their initial offer is to what a tenant wants to pay.
Uh-huh.
Um, it is a hyper located, it's hyper connected city. You've got access to all the talent in the north. You've got MRT, LRT,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Commonwealth. I mean, you've got the gateway to NLEX and the gateway to the north. I
Yeah.
think it's a very uh, connected location. But
But where's the but? I'm waiting for the
yeah,
but.
no, I think when developers realize the price points and there's a gap, like the supply demand
Uh-huh.
curve, they're not
Uh-huh.
connecting right now. It will
How
connect
what occupancy rates are we looking at?
so the vacancy rate's about 30%.
Oh, okay, vacancy rates of 30. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and there's not a lot of take up happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
Mm-hmm.
a relatively slower market. I don't think it needs to be. Um, in terms of retail and in terms of housing,
Mm-hmm.
it's things are going off there.
So
Unfortunately for
any particular reason, Mike, why it's at 30% and you're just looking at 9% for BGC and Makati's like,
it's economics 101, man. There's too much supply and not enough demand,
oh, okay, okay,
right? And
right,
eventually at the intersection of
uh-huh,
an
uh-huh,
X curve,
uh-huh.
at a certain price there will be demand,
Mhm.
and they just haven't. They're not connecting yet.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more like international companies would like the address in BGC more than it is in Quezon City.
Look,
Uh,
there's a lot of that is true. I mean, the quality of office stock in Quezon City is not, it's not leading global standards quality.
oh, okay.
So, it's decent, it's
Mm-hmm.
nice,
Mm-hmm.
it's, next to malls or connected to malls or next to LRT stations or MRT stations. Um, it does have a lot going for it, but it can't command the price delta that a BGC or even Ortigas
Mm-hmm.
had a significant amount of take up,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and they had, all their buildings are basically brand new, lead gold, lead platinum. You know, they just
Yeah.
built really nice buildings, and they're at like a 50% discount to Makati. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
if you're in Makati, why wouldn't you move to a brand new building in Ortigas,
It.
better connections
Mm-hmm.
for all your
Mm-hmm.
employees, and half the rent?
Yeah. So do we shout out the developers now
They read
to
my
bring
report. I don't
to
know if they
bring
watch the show yet, but they definitely read the reports, and it's
well,
super
we're more visuals and we'd like to
commentary.
hear it, right? So calling, you might want to reconsider your rental rates
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
want to attract more market into your buildings.
that's right. I mean, they're slowly waking up to this reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you've sat on a building for a year and you've only leased out one floor and you have, three more towers to go,
Uh-huh.
you're scratching your head like, what are we doing wrong?
That's right. No, because
Um,
I think the pride of Quezon City is, well, aside from the fact that it is the largest income generating city in Metro Manila,
and largest
it
population,
is.
isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's the most populous. It also gets a lot of BPO agents from nearby Bulacan and Pampanga, right?
100%.
So that's why I was surprised when I saw and heard from you that it's at 30%.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
think places like Clark have had more take up. Ilo's had more take up than Quezon
re-
City. Yeah, it's because it's almost faster for people to, drive north and get to Pampanga and Clark than it
uh-huh,
is
uh-huh.
to get into
Okay,
Quezon City right now. And then
okay.
pay Manila prices for
Yeah, because
food,
because
metro rent.
connectivity is also good, right? Connectivity is also good. You you highlighted earlier that connectivity in terms of transport is also here, right? I'm based off Quezon City. Is it's also strategic. So it really boils down to price, Mike.
That's economics 101, man.
Mhm.
Eventually, supply has to match demand, or demand needs to, lead to, yeah,
Yeah.
economics 101.
Okay. Okay.
So
Well,
hopefully at some price point there will be demand. Um,
okay.
and our gut feel, our research says it's going to be kind of in the 500 range. And
Uh-huh.
and the issue isn't so much rent. It's also the expectation of salaries for someone who then lives and works in Metro Manila. Because rent
Mm-hmm.
is maybe 8 to 10%
Mm-hmm.
of the cost of a company's
Uh-huh.
total,
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um, salaries are 70 or 80.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So if I go to Clark, which is another hour and a half or hour drive north,
Yeah.
and then I save 10 or 20% on my labor, and the real estate's the same cost,
Uh-huh.
I don't really
Uh-huh.
care. I'm going
Yeah.
I'm, I'm going for the labor savings.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's a bigger line
Okay.
item on your budget.
Okay. Okay. Then it makes sense. Then it makes sense.
And that's the issue, to convince companies to, like, hey, don't go to Clark,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
come
Uh-huh.
back to QC,
Yep.
and then like you don't have to give it away, but you have to help them cover the price point difference difference in salary expectations of
Mhm.
having a worker in Quezon City versus someone in Pampanga.
Well, I just have an insight in my head, right? Quezon City is really known for small and medium enterprises. But these small and medium enterprises, just like my brokerage, is based off near our homes, right? Our offices are near our homes. It may not have the best connectivity or the aircon or the fast elevators, but we can live with it. So I
Sure.
think it's also to attract these small medium enterprises, which are a lot more than your multinationals in Quezon City, to attract them to to move over and to be in an office building.
Yeah, we look at the recovery. The probably most popular size inquiry that we get right now is 200 to 250 square meters. And this
Mhm.
is the SMEs that you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's all they need.
yeah,
But the best part of SMEs is this year that's 250. A year later, they're like, we're ready to expand, and it's 500. A year later, it's 1,000.
yep,
They're the
yep.
fastest ones to grow.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of great options for 250 square meters. There's
Yeah.
not
Uh-huh.
super ready space available. And maybe there are in some of the other buildings, right? But some of the
Uh-huh.
buildings that we track, which is grade A from
Uh-huh.
the major developers, there's no 200 square meter cut. There's no 250 square
Yeah.
meter cut available. And then more importantly, if you did find something available, like a whole floor, and then okay, we're finally willing to cut up a whole floor for you,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's a concrete box, and
Yeah.
you're going to be 5 million pesos in the hole to then
Mm-hmm.
level the flooring, add carpets, add a ceiling, air
Yep. Yep.
conditioning units.
Yeah.
It's a real capital expenditure that,
Uh-huh.
given the economy, a lot of companies, particularly smaller companies, don't want to make those capital investments right now.
Right. 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 Well,
So that's
with
why if we'll
uh-huh.
segment into co-working or
Mm-hmm.
flexible office space, we are finally about to open up something. We're just trying to we're in the middle of signing something in QC. So we are
Oh, you
coming to
are?
your neighborhood
You
eventually.
are?
Hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully at the right
Yeah.
rate. We're still trying to convince
Uh-huh.
landlords to
Uh,
accept our low ball offer.
yeah.
Um, because we're just a function of the market. These
Yeah.
SMEs also are giving us low ball offers. We don't do anything for free. Um, but yeah,
500. Lower than 500. Oh.
accept it.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, okay. Well, we have a lot of bases to cover. We've only discussed about office market. There's still a lot more, and I need
And we have
to
2
get a
minutes
bit
left
of
in the segment.
yeah, I need to get a bit of water. So we will be right back after a few reminders from our sponsors. So just hang on to your seats and see us in a few minutes. All right? Bye. A good Saturday afternoon once again, and welcome back to Realty Realities, where we're talking to the managing director of KMC Savills. They're the one of the biggest, if not the biggest, real estate firm in the country, and we're talking about, are we realty back on track? And it seems like it slowly recovering, just like the other industries in the economy. um Office, like what Mike mentioned, it's vacancies are going down, right, and occupancies are going up, right. So let's talk to him about the more juicier stuff. Well, at least for me, that's commercial and residential property. So let's bring back Michael McCullough. Okay, while you're coming back, Mike, while you're coming back, let me just think again. Few bags by Candy. Simply by asking a question to our guest, you get this beautiful bag. And then if you want to shout out to anybody, you'll get for yourself a Vista Residence pencil case. Right, Mike. Offline, I said let's not pull out the slides anymore because we're running out of time. Let's just do casual talk about the two of the juiciest things for me, and that's commercial market. Our rent, uh, although I do have an idea because I specialize in it, I want to know generally for Metro Manila, are rents back on pre-pandemic rates?
So one, that's a good question. Basically, the malls are back at full charge.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yep.
malls were forced to give substantial discounts during, the shutdowns.
Yeah.
And as foot traffic has slowly come back, no more face shields, finally, no more face masks, even better. I think foot traffic and it's the Burr months,
Uh-huh.
which is roughly 40 to 50% of retailers' sales happen in these couple of months. So
Yeah.
we'll start seeing some of this sales data come out.
Mm-hmm.
My general hunch from being out in the market and going to malls and restaurants is that people are spending again. I don't know if it's pent up demand and if this is sustainable, but
Mm-hmm.
or revenge shopping or some of those terms that have been used.
Yeah.
But if you go to any mall, the restaurants look full,
Yeah.
the retailers look like they're making sales, and there's a lot of shopping bags in hand.
I was about to use that term because it is revenge tourism happening, right? So, I was about to ask you, is it also the same for shopping? And I suppose it is, right?
I mean, the question, yeah, I mean, there's no question that people are spending money right now. The question
Mm-hmm.
is, how sustainable is it? Because we're starting to feel the the inflation rate. Our
Mm-hmm.
money isn't going as far as it used to.
Uh-huh.
Prices are up
Uh-huh.
at restaurants, prices are up at the grocery store,
Right.
sometimes substantially.
Yeah, yeah.
And if our incomes aren't substantially up,
Uh-huh.
we
Uh-huh.
as
Uh-huh.
consumers are getting pinched a bit.
Yep. Yep.
So, you might be spending more on the essentials, or we may see certain economic
Mm-hmm.
classes
Mm-hmm.
only spend on essentials,
Mm-hmm.
um, which seems to be milk tea. I don't know. The milk
Mm-hmm.
tea always, milk
Okay.
tea, there's always
But
lines of milk tea.
what's in it in milk tea that that you keep coming back for, right?
Keep going back for more.
Yeah, yeah. I think it has something to do with milk because we're born looking for milk, right?
There's
So
opiates
even
in
at
milk. So, one of the most addictive drugs known to man is opiates. So that could explain some
oh,
of it.
okay, all right. Okay, does this translate, however, like the pickup of shopping, of going out for eating, does this also translate to higher rental rate,
Look,
or we're still
I
not at
think
the
a lot
level
of
of
retailers
pre-pandemic?
are
Mm-hmm.
still a little shell shocked
Mm-hmm.
from the last 2 years. Particularly, some landlords were less generous than others, and there is more space out there for whatever reason. Some didn't recover.
Okay.
Many
All right.
retailers,
Uh-huh.
shut
Uh-huh.
down. Um,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Filipinos are very entrepreneurial. They
Uh-huh.
find a shut down restaurant, and it was Sam Gip or something, or
Uh-huh.
some
Uh-huh.
sort of a food brand. Then they bring in a different brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the question is, the retail industry is not. It's a fickle industry.
Uh-huh.
Some are
Uh-huh.
wildly successful. Some are
Mm-hmm.
duds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you'll see the rebirth of many of these retail spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if you're the entrepreneur taking these massive risks and investments, you're still a little cautious. So, we think we see there's a large spread, I guess, between what rents could go for,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
specifically in retail.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of threat with online shopping,
Uh-huh.
which was a big thing maybe last 2 years. And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
now that the malls are reopening, I think people love the traditional retail style of walking
Uh-huh.
to a store, feeling it, touching it,
So with
smelling it,
with what
and
you're
walking out
saying,
with it.
Mike, it seems like you're leaning to
I'm optimistically
property
cautious.
owners shouldn't be putting it back at pre-level rates, but to be more understanding of what's happening around us, right? Like
Yeah, look, the
there's
market,
online
there's
shopping. We're slowly recovering
cloud
from the
kitchens. There's
right.
cloud kitchens for delivery. I mean, a lot of people,
Okay.
you
Okay.
don't need a retail outlet and have to pay
Uh huh.
retail
Uh huh.
prices. You can
Uh
literally
huh. Uh
be
huh. Uh huh.
one street behind or get the unit in behind and have a dark kitchen and just be on
Right.
Grab and
Right.
Food Panda and be selling,
Right.
non-retail.
So, are you telling property owners to be more understanding when it comes to
Look,
rental rates?
if you're a property owner, you have to find a way to partner with your tenants.
Oh,
This is
okay.
about
Yeah.
finding win-win solutions right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not us versus them attitude anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Can you say that again? Because I wanna crop this. I wanna cut this and then send it
full
to my
quote,
clients.
okay. It's about finding win-win solutions. It's not
Uh-huh.
us versus them anymore, landlords versus tenants. Um,
Uh-huh.
you know, and I think this is you want a sustainable long-term relationship with your
Yeah.
tenant. You don't want to squeeze every single last peso of margin from them,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're trying to build up a community or some sort of
Yeah.
little micro hub that
Mm-hmm.
has food, beverage, retail, entertainment, lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, foot traffic drives demand, and having good retailers will bring foot traffic, and so they're really trying to build a some sort of symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. True. If I may add, Mike.
Please.
Uh, yeah. Uh, just don't look at your bottom lines, please. Because in the end, your space or the property that you're leasing to is something or a place that these businesses should make profit of, and it's not just you, right? You have to consider how much are they gonna sell in this space that I'm renting out to them, and not just how much will I earn by leasing it to to these businesses.
That's correct. I mean, for many of these businesses, half their revenue is going into rent, and it's probably not sustainable.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, and,
Imagine.
and basically what happens is, they come in, they're maybe 6 months, 1 year, 8 months in business, and the rent has sucked out all the margin out of the
Yeah.
business, and they just fold.
Yep.
And some landlords are like, yeah, no, that's fine. I'll just find someone who's better at running a business than these guys, and that's a good point. You're welcome to that opinion. Um,
Yeah.
but if you're looking to, and again, some concepts need to fail
Uh-huh.
to rebirth a better concept. It is true. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to give it away.
True.
but you
True.
do need to be
True.
reasonable and
True.
find ways to build a bit of a community there that builds off itself. And
Yeah.
I mean, an empty box, concrete retail store is there's a lot of them out there.
Mhm.
What makes yours so special or different?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mike, we're running out of time. Sorry. But I guess the most important thing in our viewers' minds would be, I would say, two things, right? First is if I am a property developer, or not yet, but I have a sitting asset, say a 500 square meter lot in one of the busy streets. Should I be developing it now into a commercial center or a building? So that's the first thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the devil is in the details, but there are certain asset classes that typically are doing well right now for a lot
Mhm.
that size, and that might be a 2 or 3 story or 4 story townhome type of development. Um,
Uh-huh.
you need to take debt. Debt's not cheap right now. Yeah, the cost of debt has doubled in the last kind of 4 or 5 months. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can do it all equity, or if you can get some sort of financing from the contractor, there's a million ways to do something if you have your mind set to it.
Uh-huh.
Um, there still seems to be demand on for these kind of mid to high end, maybe 8 to 20 million townhouse
Mm-hmm.
ranges.
Okay, just to follow up. If I am this viewer and I'm looking for a home, without any considerations as to where in Metro Manila, but probably more for investment purposes, right? Where should I be buying? If
I
if
mean, if
if
you want
if budget's
the
the if,
vanilla,
yeah.
yeah. Again, if you look where the office guys went, they went to Ortigas. So, I kind of feel
Mhm.
like the greater Ortigas area of kind of Pasig, Mandaluyong. Again,
Uh-huh.
it's all about connectivity. Um, they are well connected cities.
Mm-hmm.
You could look a little farther north in Quezon City. You're
Mm-hmm.
seeing a lot of developments. And Ayala just announced 20 billion capex expansion and 600 hectares in San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, to expand their Alteraza project, which is the end of MRT 7. So you kind of follow infrastructure. That's a pretty proven model if there's still margins there and still available land there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Woo, woo. Well, there you have it.
60
There you
seconds or
have it.
less. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. So, you've heard it. If you have, if you're investing, right? San Jose del Monte. I guess try, watch Realty Realities, which is one. Also, listen to the reports of these real estate firms, and also do your research, right? So where
Hey,
the
real
big
estate
boys are,
hyper local.
yeah,
Real estate's
where
hyper
the
local.
search for where the big boys are going to build, and then
You
right.
don't have to, I mean, you can see where they're building, but I wouldn't want to compete with them. I think you can find places in your own neighborhood. I mean, you would know your neighborhood best. You would know who's buying there, who your friends are, who your aunties, titas,
Yeah.
cousins who are, living there, and you would know when a lot is below underpriced,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and that's when you're going to find kind of the best opportunities. Again,
Yeah.
your best returns
Yeah.
are kind of in your own backyard, they always
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Even more practical tip than yeah. That's it. So another wonderful session here at Realty Realities, and that's care of this guy,
Thanks for having me
Mr.
back.
Michael McCullough. So again, would like to thank you, Sir Mike, for those insights as well as the reports. And with your permission, I can probably get one or two of those slides and then share it on our Facebook page. which is,
Absolutely.
by the way, Realty Realities on TNC. So again, let's give Mr. Michael McCullough a virtual clap. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks again for having me, King.
You're welcome. So that's about the Saturday afternoon that we have in the whole season 4 that we have. So we promised you during the start of this season to give you insights. Our episodes are more focused towards the buyers and investors because our first 3 seasons were focused on the sales professionals. And we've given you, well, we started off with CBRE giving quarter 2 review, and then we ended with quarter 3 review from KMC Savills. And it is realty coming back. The real estate industry is back on track. So, like what Michael said earlier, you don't have to look far. If you're looking for good property investments, just stay within your neighborhood because you know it best. You know what's being sold there, you know what's priced as a bargain, and then you also know what to put up there because you are familiar with the area. So don't go any further. But if you are going any further and looking out because you've already spent your resources within your community and you want to look further, then I suggest you get in touch with King Kong Realty. My number is 0917 166 6234, and let's talk business. Lastly, I'd like to thank our sponsors. That's Vista Residences. If you want a condo that's close to your office, that's also close to your kids' school, then get for yourself Vista Residences. If you don't have any agent yet, you can get in touch with me again. We have Oh My Home, which makes it easier for us to look for dream houses. You just go to ohmyhome.com, and then they have the choices of homes, both for lease and for sale. Business Mirror, marami pong salamat sa inyong pagsuporta and for sharing our press releases. Their Shift Cafe for perking us up every episode, every day, as a matter of fact, for me, because I am a Shift Cafe drinker. And then, last but definitely not least, Q Bags by Candy. And to you guys for all the love and the support in watching Realty Realities Season 4. God bless us all, and we love you. Bye.